Coming live to you from Houston with Ernesto Verdugo, and live from Dubai with Dave Crane, and now also live from Amsterdam with Michael Diederich, we bring you the Toilet Paper Diaries. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Yeah, very good, really good. I went on a shopping spree today in Dubai, and I went into the supermarket, and it was really weird. It really felt like the last days of civilization before the aliens arrive, or under some kind of weird regime. I got all my shopping done. I spent a fortune on biscuits and cake, which you can see is working really well for me. So I can't complain.
I am actually trying to stick to the challenge that we actually set on episode number 10, and that was really interesting. But you know, I was watching some of the people how they're actually trying to improve their health by watching videos, and I think this is just perfect for what we're just talking about.
That's me. That's me in my Bloody Beautiful.
I feel like that sometimes.
I'll tell you what, I can see you wearing a Dubai Rugby 7. That looks very good, by the nice and tight with your muscled body.
That's great. Today we're going to have a great show. We wanted to, cover the new world where everybody's repositioning themselves, all the way from Oprah, all the way from Ellen DeGeneres, all the superstars. They're trying to find a new way. Yesterday, I got a bit of inspiration, and I created a meme that I started showing right now on my social media that says, "It is not the end of the world, it's the beginning of a new era." And I believe this is exactly where we are right now. This is a complete new era, and brands need to be repositioned, and celebrities need to be repositioned, because some of them don't really understand what is going on. So I think this show, even though we're talking about comedy, we're actually using comedy as a way for people to understand how everybody's now taking their new position in the world. And this is what this show is going to be about.
Very true. I got 3 inquiries today from people saying, could you do motivational speaking to our team who are scattered all around the world? So literally, the game is changing completely, where people are adapting to a new online world of reaching audiences. So I find it very exciting. I find it innovative. And I don't think it's going to go back in its box. This will be part of the new future, which is great, because it means there's a lot more work for everybody else as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So in today's news, I just want to bring across something that I just been seeing that it's insane. I mean, if you actually walk around the neighborhood, I went for a walk around the neighborhood today. It was Thursday, the time that they picked up all the garbage here in the neighborhood. And the amount of bottles of wine that I saw there, the amount of bottles of alcohol that I see there is just absolutely insane. So I think this is one of the news that I see all the time over there. We see grandma saying, "Hey, I need more wine."
Absolutely. Well, here's the thing. In times of stress, in times of lack of money, when there's a recession on, people normally lean on social aspects. So they go to bars more, they drink more, they party more, because they're cheap ways of staying sort of like in the world without having to worry about it too much. The only challenge you got here is you can't go to bars and you can't go out. So doing it from home makes the second best sense. I've actually been on detox.
And then afterwards, you can actually have some really nice landscaping ideas like this.
Is that your garden, Ernesto?
No, it's not very nice. Garden, but just something that I found in social media. So that I think
That's one night in a Verdugo household.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, yeah, I'm really excited because we are having a celebrity from the Netherlands with us. Some of you have seen him already talking about several things. He's been our most impactful correspondent. I mean, we have had already about 30 correspondents in the show. But Michael has been featured a number of times. But before we bring him on, I want to make sure that you actually realize who is the person which is actually joining us today as a guest and possible co-host of what we are doing today, because of course the topic is about comedy, and he is an improv master. He has worked with Seth Mayers. He has worked with a ton of different interesting people. So let me just show you a video introducing Michael Diederich. Have a look.
Dit is All Together Now, de muzikale hitshow met maar één doel. 100 muziekexperts laten opstaan en meezingen. Get ready for me, love, 'cause I'm a comer. I simply got a much to drum and nobody, no, nobody is gonna rain on me.
Supergoed. Michael, jij kon niet anders dan opstaan.
Nee, toen je opkwam, ik denk, kom op meid. En toen kwam die been buiten en ik denk, super. Dit is een nummer voor de meest ervaren zangeres van Broadway. Dus toen hij begon, ik denk van, nee, dit gaat het niet worden. Maar tijdens het nummer, het was net alsof ik je een soort carrière volgde. Van iemand in het ensemble, bijrol. En je kwam bij het laatste noot en ik denk, hoofdrol.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Michael Diederich. There we go, Mr. Michael Diederich. Hooray! We pressed the button on you. We pressed the button so to make sure you came on. How you doing, fella?
I'm doing great. It's really good to see you guys here in the program, literally live, talking to each other instead of just as a correspondent.
Absolutely.
It is very exciting. Michael and I met about 3 or 4 years ago. I took my entire group of speakers to do an improv class with him, and we fell in love with Michael. I mean, Michael is one of the most talented improv and comedy teachers I've ever met. And you have had the chance to work with some of the big stars on comedy. We're saying Seth Mayers, which he has worked in the Netherlands, but you can quickly give us a brief of what's your comedy background.
Well, I've always been on stage. When I was 4 years old, I knew I wanted to perform mostly musicals. And because of my round build, it was usually comical roles, never the leading guy, but always the funny second fiddle character. And I gave that a place. And when I moved to Amsterdam 27 years ago, I joined Boom Chicago, which is the #1 comedy ticket in Amsterdam 4 years. They do shows in English, and they have launched the careers of so many famous actors. And because I was on the ground floor of Boom Chicago, I got to see them all as these just green guys coming in and being funny, and then being picked up, going back for pilot season in the States. And it's incredible to see. I mean, Seth Mayers being one of the biggest, of course, Jordan Peele. We have an Oscar winner now. He's a hysterical comedian. He had his Key and Peele show, but then he wrote that Get Out. What a fantastic psychological racial drama, and won an Oscar for it as well. You just go, oh, you're incredible. Amber Ruffin, who is on Seth Meyers' shows. She has a couple featured things, Jokes Seth Can't Tell, and Amber Says What. And she is also getting her own show on NBC, and is going to be on a audio series together with Paul Rudd, Jason Sudeikis, Ike Barinholtz, Matt Jones from Walter White, what's his name? Breaking Bad. I mean, it's so great to go. These were just people I had. I mean, it was the best job I ever had. You know, you went and you made people laugh for a couple hours, and then you had a couple drinks. And now I love that I go on YouTube or TV and they're still there. It's incredible.
That's awesome.
you
And
were there as
right
well.
now, I mean, you of course have been working a lot with comedy, but right now you have been you're becoming famous because of being really tough in all together now. So that is absolutely great, and this is the reason why we thought that you will be the perfect person to have over here, because right now we have all been repositioned. Right now the playing field has been leveled, and we are right now doing exactly what we need to do to get ourselves positioned. So the first things that we started realizing in the very beginning of the pandemic was that everybody went to a complete stop, and television got reinvented, show business got reinvented. So Dave, what do you think it's now new in show business?
Well, I think that the fact that people are working from their home is a massive leveler. I think that what you've got is many people, it's like when we talk about an overnight star, overnight stars take 10 years to build themselves up to a level that when they actually get their break, they're actually ready to take it on. So that means doing a lot of improv, doing a lot of shows, and then doing the ability when they get shoved a camera in front of them in a live audience, they just go into what they've been doing for a long, long time, but without the amazing paychecks. And so I think that the key to it right now is it's gone back to the basics. In the same way as radio and TV used to be the only way you could get famous, then social media came along, and suddenly there's a load of people who didn't go through the casting couch or through the family route, and they become very well known. I think now what we've got is a real leveler. So for many people, they're finding it difficult to be able to apply themselves without a live audience, without generated PR, and without the ability to just get people's attention. This is going back to basics. And I think that what we're seeing, and we're going to talk about it in some depth later on, is how the late night talk show hosts have had to reinvent themselves as well. But I think that anybody who's capable of doing it is capable of really taking advantage of this real leveler for everybody. I mean, once the quarantine lifts, those who can will run with it, and those who have already been running with it for some time will just step up a gear and be playing with the big boys. And I think it's a fascinating place to be.
This is the late night scope prior to the pandemic.
Describe Stephen Colbert in one word.
Brilliant.
Gay.
Interesting.
Smart.
Catholic.
Silly.
Rocket ship.
Conan O'Brien.
Tall.
Weird.
Very nice.
Cruel.
Like a dreamsicle?
Cocaine.
Yeah.
Seth Mayers.
Smiling.
Fat.
Corn pudding.
Needy.
Sharp.
I was thinking, I talk to him about football, so I think about football.
Beautiful.
Vanilla. But a really rich vanilla, like with beans in it and shit. Like those flecks. That's a compliment, Seth.
John Oliver.
English.
Undocumented.
Bonnet. Did I say Bonnet already about him? Yeah, Bonnet.
Sputnik.
Crazy.
Fuck!
Kippers, like a dried fish. Delicious, a delicacy in some countries.
Ugh, it's not for me.
Jimmy Kimmel.
Weed.
Really? Cool.
Very funny.
Kind.
Cork sandals.
Meat, because he's just a big piece of man meat.
James Corden.
Aww. Sprightly.
Christmas pudding.
Turquoise.
Juicy.
Bath salts.
Very good. I saw Gavin and Stacey. I think you don't even know what Gavin and Stacey is. He's very good in Gavin and Stacey. He wrote. It's very good. You should watch Gavin and Stacey.
Trevor Noah.
New.
Interesting.
Good luck.
I've never met him.
Meth.
Sparkling water with a twist of whatever grows in South Africa.
Me.
Larry Wilmore.
You know those coconut like Hostess snowballs? Yeah.
Statesman-like. Funny.
Hello.
Oh, I've known him for years. He's great.
Black, obviously.
Bill Maher.
Snake with a tail on its mouth?
So literally, you were either one of those guys or you weren't. So many of them came from the background that Michael's talking about. So basically, many of them had earned their time working in stand-up comedy and improv, so they already knew how to work an audience. And so putting them in front of a camera was their break. I mean, often they get a pilot and it works well or it doesn't work well, depending on feedback. And those guys are tried and tested. But I think that nowadays what you'll find is everybody has their own version that they can do. And whether this means that you get stepped up to the big plate or you start doing it in front of live audiences, it's still going to carry. I mean, I'm waiting to see Michael go through the roof with his superstardom because he's already earned it. On that show, it's virtually called The Michael Show because quite clearly everyone's watching to see his opinion above all the... I don't know how you've managed to do it I've never seen such a group of diverse people grabbing attention as much as they can do, but you just own it. So that's why they put you center stage. So, Michael, what are your plans for after the pandemic?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm totally on board with you guys. It's watching the idea of reinventing yourself, and especially in the general entertainment industry, it's difficult to see where that's going to go. You look at the late night talk show hosts, as we're talking about today, and they've kind of found how they can do this. They've got, graphic people, and they can have their joke writers send them in, and they can film it, and they edit it together. And then you're watching comedians who are just filming their routines. You see musicians who are just every day singing a song. But then you start thinking about things like the movie world, where you go, that's going to be a big challenge, because how are we going to get a group, an ensemble together, a production team working together? Things like a television sitcom. These are difficult things. But I'm even watching right now improv, which for me is a very group activity. I'm watching groups right now that are doing Zoom improv sessions and really making them work. People who are still producing stand-up comedy. I have a friend here in the Netherlands who's going to do a whole cabaret act. He's going to be in an actual theater, and basically everyone's separated. They've got a technician on sound and lights. They've got a camera guy, and then there's him. So there's plenty of space between them, and there's all sorts of platforms that some people are charging ticket prices. Some people are just doing it to keep the masses entertained. But I think there's going to be a big challenge to see how every niche of entertainment is going to be able to work out. I think with things like, if you're an author, you can still write books. But if you're someone who is a singer, you can still probably get into a studio. But if you're a big film actor right now, your exposure is hoping that, Jimmy Kimmel calls you up to have an interview with you without any makeup on. That's kind of the extent of what you can do right now. So those are some challenges. For me, it's this idea of still reinventing myself. We have a problem with our show. Yeah, we can't get those 100 people in the room together. So I'm just hoping to take my image as the guy that, hey, here's the guy to impress, and, not to knock my other 99 jury members, but I think I can also do that without them as well.
I was going to say, where do you want to be? Where do you, Michael Diederich, want to be, given the Harry Potter magic wand, Bing, because you are quite clearly on your way up this huge trajectory, and people be thinking, who can we get and where can we position him? Where would your ideal position be?
Yeah, that's so interesting, because I'm a dreamer. But the interesting thing about me for years is I wanted to be a working actor, and I threw that out in the universe, and I was. But was I climbing the ladder? Was I getting the huge roles? No, I was doing okay. I was doing fine, and I was happy. But I've always kind of lacked that big ambition to go out there, and especially since working with you and Ernesto, allowing myself to dream bigger and coming in contact with bigger people, and then you get things like this TV show. So I think for me, I love these late night talk show hosts, and here in the Netherlands, that concept doesn't work very well. And the problem is that the Dutch, God bless them, ik hou van jullie, I love the Dutch, but they miss, when it comes to entertainment, the American flair. They don't dare to show their entire range of emotions. They don't put themselves out there 100%. So that would be my next step, is go, hey, here's an American who speaks Dutch. Let me take that next step and go, here's your late night talk show host. Because, I think they're missing that American flair, and I got that in spades.
I can see that big time.
And right now, this is exactly where we are, and where we see the incredible possibility, not only for ourselves, but I think for absolutely everybody that takes the chance of repositioning themselves, understanding that this is a complete new environment. So have a look.
Hey, everybody. Hi. Welcome to my bathroom. I'm your host, Stephen Colbert. You're watching a very special social distancing edition of The Late Show, or as I now call it, The Lather Show with Scrub and Colbert.
As you may have noticed, none of you are here right now. Only people in the audience right now. Give me a shot of this. Only people in the audience right now are some members of my staff. Hi, guys.
My first guest tonight, as you can see, is Mr. Bubble, followed by a musical performance by the legendary duo Head and Shoulders. Thanks, guys.
So, I've been inspired by Italy, and I figure, like, why don't we do this in New York? We're also neighbors out here. Let's be together, you know? I can show you the world, shining shimmer.
Wash your hands, wash your hands, do not touch your face. Wash your hands, do not touch your face. If you wash your hands and do not touch your face, then the world will be a better place.
Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the flowers are dying. 'Tis you must go, and I must bide. But come ye back when summer's in the meadow, when the valley's hushed and white with snow. 'Tis I'll be there in sunshine.
Here's what I see from that. I see that they're falling back on their comedy show, sketch show roots. So to fill the gap of not having an audience or interaction or having a special guest star they can play and flirt with, what they're doing is saying, if I was doing the Trevor Noah show and it was basically a sketch show, how would I create it? And it's very interesting to see who got that in the bag and who has to fall back on just normal conversation and hoping to make it topical. I think we're going to end up with a number of genres that didn't exist before as it all starts separating deeper and further. Once upon a time, the music business was controlled by the casting couch and by the person who decided who was going to be the Svengali of music, and you had to go for a certain way of doing it. And then with the record companies, bless you, they changed the game because people could then go online, they could get their small band to have a load of people watching them in their garage and then do little rubbish gigs. But that would allow them to launch their catalog that they could sell online without going through a record company. I think what this is going to do is it's going to make a big change to the power of normal media houses, of the big broadcasters, where some people will do Facebook, YouTube, and so on, and they won't need the power of the big guys.
And I think it is just an incredible opportunity as long as you're doing it right. Because you know what happens is that some people are just not doing it right. I mean, several celebrities. There is, if you look in Instagram, if you look in Twitter, you will see a ton of celebrities that are actually making all this whole new thing about themselves. I mean, right now, everybody is using social media to get out. Right now, most of the television stations are running reruns. So most of the live entertainment which is happening, it's happening from home. But some people are actually getting it wrong because, of course, they are positioning only themselves. I mean, they're saying, well, you know, I am incredibly big and I am the best and whatever. There is this motivational speaker / comedian / genius. His name is JP Sears. I do not know if you have ever heard of JP Sears. But he basically, he has a very funny way of teaching or making his point by making fun of the behavior that he wants to correct. So let me show you just very quickly the video. This is just a short segment of the video that he created on how celebrities are making all these things about themselves. Have a look.
Hey guys, it's me, your favorite celebrity. I just want you to know you gotta stay in your home right now. It's the only way we're gonna make it through this. But don't worry, everything's gonna be fine. I promise you. And I know you're stuck in your little apartment right now. I know what that's like. I'm stuck on the grounds of my estate too. This is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. But look, we're all in this together. I know you miss me, which is why I feel so much purpose connecting with you on social media. And look, we all have our part in this experience. My part is to educate you, inspire you, and uplift you throughout this experience. I know you appreciate me taking the time to tell you how to live during this crisis. You know, seriously, stay in your home. It is so important. I'm suffering just as much as you are during this. Hashtag one world. I feel like a normal blue-collar person too. I'm just famous. I know so many of you have lost jobs during this time, and I don't think anyone understands what that's like more than me. My wealth has dropped during this crisis. It looks like my latest movie isn't going to come out on time. It was going to be a summer release.
Wow. So, folks, I think that I mean, he tells it like it is, and it's really funny. But which examples do we have of stars that have botched it and really badly positioned themselves? Because there must be a ton of them who haven't got their heads around the fact that they've got to keep earning the conversations.
There were several. I mean, if you look in Twitter, there's it's actually, the video is called cringe-worthy celebrity videos or something like that. It's all over the place, and you can see anywhere from Madonna to Matthew McConaughey to this Gal Gadot, which is what's her name?
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman. To everybody, just making some videos about trying to look nice, but really messing it up.
Absolutely.
So, this is where I think the background from you, Dave, from myself, from Michael, it comes incredibly powerful, because now what we are seeing is that we have been entertaining and working with audiences for over 30 years, each of us. I mean, I think, we have been doing it in all sorts of different stages all over the world, and we know how to handle a crowd, even if there's no crowd. I mean, even on a video, we know how to do that.
One of the things is you've got an empathy, so you know the timing, you know the feelings of the audience, you know exactly what they should react, because you've done it before. And when you've worked on a big stage, and often when you're working on a big stage, you've got these huge floodlights, so you can't see the audience at all. So all you can work off is maybe the sound of reactions from the audience to make sure that your pausing, your comedy, your empathy really works. Right now, it's completely stripped back. You don't have any of that, but you've got your autopilot and your sixth sense. And I think that key is why you're seeing that certain people are doing it really well, and a lot of the big stars who haven't had to deal with that for a very long time because they've got PR teams around them saying, darling, you're wonderful, and everybody's going to love you, and they have a load of advertising and their name in lights. They're really going back to basics, and they really could end up, there'll be a lot of people who shoot themselves in the foot during this time, which is going to make it very challenging to be able to recover, because people will remember it. And I really, really, really want to talk about the Tiger King. That show.
Have you watched the Tiger King, Michael?
No, I refuse to watch the Tiger King.
All right. In that case, go on. Why?
Well, number one, I saw the preview for it as well, and I wasn't really interested. And the other thing is, being a Netflix viewer, anytime a program ends, then you get a trailer for something. And now that I'm binge watching, literally the last 100 times, nothing but the Tiger King. I'm going, you've got thousands of programs. Stop shoving this down my throat. The more you push it at me, the less I want to watch it.
It's not every day that a zookeeper went to prison for murder for hire.
There are more captive tigers in the U.S. than there are in the wild throughout the world.
Animal people are nuts, man. They're all crazy. I'm sure y'all got a story to tell.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Joe Exotic, and this is Sarge.
He was like a mythical character living out in the middle of bumfuck Oklahoma who owned 1,200 tigers and lions and bears and shit.
Come here, love me. Matt spoken, good looking, love to party and have fun. I don't think we're done blowing shit up today.
I don't figure you are.
They have a heart and a soul and a mind. I've learned from them. But Carol Baskin keeps saying, I can't have these tigers.
If he ever had an enemy in his life, it was Carol Baskin.
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens, it's Carol at Big Cat Rescue.
Carol is the Mother Teresa of cats.
We will end the private possession of these cats.
This is my way of living, and nobody's gonna tell me any otherwise.
Carol has an army of people working for free.
She's a plain out hypocrite. She literally does everything that I do.
So Joe says, will you go to Florida and what?
Kill that fucking lady.
What a story. And it got way bigger.
Sometimes they say that I'm the prototype for Scarface.
We're supposed to be sexy, and we're luring people in.
You may now kiss the grooms.
You're gonna have to kill me to shut me up. This is my. There's 28 songs.
It's crazy.
Music videos.
Right, let me just explain why the Tiger King is such an addictive part of TV. First of all, we're in weird times. I don't tend to watch a lot of TV, but right now we've got not a lot of choice. So anything that's shiny and interesting is there. Now, this guy, Joe Exotic, is a real life character in the same way as Austin Powers and who else would be on that era. You know when an actor brings out a character and you go, that is so funny. I can't believe they got away with making a character like that. Here's this. So this guy breeds big cats and wolves and all sorts. He is so larger than life you wouldn't believe. So he's gun-toting, he's got a big mullet, he's gay with his husband's living on this place, and he's just got an arch enemy who's just as bad as him. Now, let me just explain the way this show's put together. I've only got to episode 5, and I've tried not to watch it, but it just shows up. Like Michael was saying, every episode there's a cliffhanger which knocks it on its head for a whole new episode, which then knocks it on its head again. It's so addictively bonkers, you can't help with your mouth open, but just watching it going, I can't believe I'm watching this, but this is brilliant. Now, here's a big challenge for the show. It would lend itself perfectly well to Hollywood to do a movie of it, but they couldn't do justice because the real life is so off the chart. Unless you included aliens, it wouldn't work. The guy is so... I mean, I'll give you a little taster. This guy has run for president, and he's run for governor, just in the last episode that I saw. He's done some incredible things, allegedly, and what makes it even more crazy, and I've not got to the last 2 episodes, is he's currently in prison, serving 22 years for attempted murder of that lady, Carol Baskin, that you saw there, and he's pitching for Donald Trump to pardon him, and it may yet happen. That's one of the reasons that everyone's going, no, this can't be real. It is.
Dave, you forgot to say spoiler alert, for crying out loud.
No, I don't think there's anything in there that's not on trailers anyway. There's nothing there. I haven't gone to the actual nuts and bolts of it. So if you ignore it, then at some point it's going to come back at you. But I promise you to, when you see it, you'll come back to me and go, okay, you win. Because it is that good. It's that crazy.
Michael doesn't seem convincing. He's the judge.
No, it ain't gonna. For me, it's not going to happen because number one, you're absolutely right. You're talking about all these things, and I love that Ernesto said "spoiler alert," and it's like I haven't watched it. I've literally watched that 2-minute trailer 1,000 times, and it's like every time, where's the remote control? Turn it off. But everything you've said, it's all in the trailer. The only thing you're getting is this crazy personality, and we've seen this with Paris Hilton. We've seen this with the Kardashians. And for me, it's this thing that, Paris Hilton, she's famous for what? She's got no talent. The Kardashians, they got no talent. They're just getting weirder and weirder. And now my thing as well with this whole, without getting too political, is that you go, okay, he's gunning for Donald Trump. And I'm going, here's a guy who's just like, could be a poster child for everything that's wrong right now. So I don't need to give him any more. I'm glad that you're enjoying it. I'm glad that other people are enjoying it. I see a lot of people as well like, what is this? And I'm going, no, I don't need to. So, yeah, You can go, oh, you get addicted really fast. Well, yeah, I don't need to try heroin either.
So how are we going to take it forward? Let's see it from the point of view of the comedy and the improv. Michael, what do you think? How is this technology is going to be working for branding, for positioning, for, you know, every single thing that we are doing and representing?
Well, one of the interesting challenges, you showed those clips earlier of Trevor Noah and Stephen Colbert and other people. And the funny thing is, me, for a comedian, when I watch those, I can almost tell you what their background is, because some of them are more comfortable with the silence than others. And it's not just because they've got, you know, their PR people telling them what darlings they are, but it's about their experience. If you've, you know, filmed a TV show without a studio audience before, then you know, or, you know, a film, that's the interesting thing. You go, you don't know if people are going to laugh at that joke because no one's there. And that's why I love improv and sketch comedy, because you get that instant acknowledgement of that is a good joke. So you see some of these late night hosts now that you go, oh, you don't have much stage experience or stand-up comedy experience, because I see you telling these jokes and I almost feel that you're uncomfortable because no one's laughing at the joke. So if people can't adapt to that, connecting to an audience without them being there, because right now, all the people watching us, they're enjoying it. And it's interesting, if you watch a movie, a comedy, for example, and you watch it at home, you might chuckle a little, you might giggle a little, but notice what happens when you watch that same movie in a movie theater that's filled with people. You know, have these lulls, these really loud moments, because we're influenced by the audience around us. And it was interesting to see the first few days of talk show hosts going, why are they suddenly not funny? And it's because they were struggling with that silence. And that's one of the things that I've noticed that you know, you and Dave do well, which is why I'm glad to be here as well, is we're having a dialogue, and people can be a voyeur, and as long as we're enjoying this. But when, you know, comedians talking to the camera and going, hey, here's my joke, and they're not laughing, then you go, oh, there's this dead space there, and we're not getting the audience's reaction. So I think that's going to be really important, is learning how to connect with an audience without getting an immediate response from your audience.
I agree with you completely. My background's in radio. I was in radio for about 10, 15 years. And so as a result of that, you're used to working in a studio and getting no laughs at all, but you hope that what you're doing is connecting with people. And so when you meet them maybe on a weekend, or you see them at a different time, you get to find out what worked and what didn't work, because people will tell you. And so that allows me to understand exactly how it works. But I used to work with a lot of radio hosts who were very popular until you put them in front of a live audience. And then you take them out on the road and they would just bomb. They would disappoint, because they expected everyone to love them as much as they did when they were on the radio. But in live, they were just disappointing. And so for me, I found that probably more than anything, I made my mark in Dubai and in the UAE, because I was one of the few radio guys that could work a live stage as easily as I could work a radio station. So what I think we're going to see is exactly what Michael said there. There's going to be you've got right now, we saw that grid of, say, 9 talk show hosts all talking about each other. The ones who are able to fall back on their roots of understanding empathy and creating a relationship with the audience will start rising to the top. The ones that weren't so good will start dropping down a little bit. So when it comes back to the normal talk show hosts again, they'll still be there, they'll still get paid, but you'll know who made their biggest impact during this time. And I think what you'll also see is a number of other people stepping up to that level who made an impact during that time. And when people are looking for the next big hope or the next big person to throw into that, because they're always looking to promote and add new talent because it's cheaper, I think you'll see a changing in the old guard and the new guard. But I also think that what they'll also do is they'll create lots of different niches. One of the things that we do with the show, we do a thing called Fast Forward, which is what we're going to use as our evolution of taking us into the post-coronavirus era, is niching. If you are in a certain industry, then you can do very well with a very small audience. So let's take, for instance, the guys, what is it, Duck Dynasty? The guys who used to do that. Now, I'm not a fan, don't get me wrong, but there's also those guys who did the repair on cars. Now, that's a very niche industry where they can be comedians.
The glass blowers, there's tons of them. Yeah.
Right, and the pawn shop and all the rest of these things. The very small reality TV shows, but for the satellite era, they're perfect for growing a small and overlapping into mainstream audience. So you don't have those superstars the way that you used to have. You have people who've got a daytime job, but very well recognized because that daytime job became mainstream. I think what we'll see now is people moving into that direction. Right now, they haven't got their act together because very few people have an entertainment background and a daytime job. Those who've got both will do best right now, but I think you'll see more of those people start to emerge.
Fascinating information. I think that we have been really uncovering a lot of really interesting stories. But one of the things that I want to remind everybody is this is the time of authenticity. I mean, if we want to really touch the hearts of people, we have to be authentic. Doesn't matter where you are at this age. I mean, whether you're a generation C, you're a millennial, you're a Gen X, or you are a boomer. And that is also one of the most important points that I wanted to carry today. And this is just so that we just before we go, I wanted to share this video because I think it's just incredibly powerful how some celebrities are really getting it correct. And this is the people that actually play doctors on television. I'm sure that you're going to really enjoy this video. Have a look.
The closest thing I've ever come to being a doctor is putting on a costume. And while it is close, it's not quite the same. But I just want to say thank you to all the real healthcare heroes out there. And there's some other people who want to say thank you as well.
I'm not a doctor, but I was paid to be one on TV. Pretty sure that's the expression.
I want to thank all the doctors and the nurses, the real ones, not the ones that are on television.
There are real heroes on the front line. Real heroes out in the street. I'm not one of them. I'm in my house.
It was early on in the filming of our show that I recognized that I was not capable of actually doing the kind of work that you do. You are our heroes, all you ER docs and nurses.
All of the people that are out there on the front lines.
Technicians, first responders, EMTs.
People that work with seniors in senior homes.
And administrators, to all the cleaning staff and cafeteria staff, and to all the volunteers.
Tens of thousands of you have come out to assist in a time when you really didn't need to, but felt that you needed to. That is mind-blowing. It's sickening. It's not sick. It's not sickening. It's the opposite.
I hope you can find some comfort in knowing you're being thought about and prayed for.
To all of you real-life doctors and nurses, thank you so much for everything you're doing to get our world through this.
Thank you for your courage and for going out there into the world and doing everything you can to fight this horrible, horrible virus.
Thank you so much for risking all that you risk to keep everyone healthy. We owe you our lives.
You guys are heroes, and we just want to salute you and send our love and prayers to your families.
Thank you so much. You're literally saving our lives.
No matter how many times we wear scrubs or stethoscopes, none of us can do for society what all of you are doing for us now. Thank you.
I wish you all health and safety.
Bless you for all that you do.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And I hope you know how much we appreciate your hard work. Thank you. Stay safe.
And let's see this video go viral.
I just want to comment on that video. It's funny because we were talking about that certain people, I think that some of the talk show kings will probably go into demise because they're not going to be able to handle this no audience reaction. As I was talking about their backgrounds, when you watch this video, you go, who jumped out at you and became the red thread of that was Neil Patrick Harris, because he knows how to improvise, he knows how to be funny, he knows how to manipulate the audience, and even with an audience there, he's the star of that video. And it's those kind of people that you go, you're educating, but you're also entertaining. Being able to entertain is going to become so important.
Absolutely
right. I mean, it may be true for you guys, but it's certainly true for me. My entire school reports from beginning to end was David is a disruptive influence. If only he'll just behave, then maybe he'll do something with his life. And I get paid a fortune to travel around the world training politicians and CEOs how to be a disruptive influence. So it just goes to show who was wrong and who was right in the end.
If only he'd apply himself.
Exactly, and would stop talking and interrupting when we're going on.
We got this picture from one of the people that actually watches the show, telling us that would be a great idea to actually have on a T-shirt, and we just definitely thought that it was not a very good idea. But yeah, indeed, basically, what I wanted just to say to people is that yes, we are not going to be out of toilet paper diaries. At least we still believe that no matter how long we're going to be here, we're going to be every single day with you, because this is our commitment.
And stay safe. And if there's one message I want to leave you with after watching that picture, is make sure you wash your hands frequently. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.